ever feel like you learned English by the book, but then native speakers are like playing a whole different game?
Yeah.
Like there's this secret code to fluency that no one teaches in class.
Right.
Well, today we're diving into those aha moments with the 3 most powerful fluency secrets you won't learn in school.
Ooh.
Get ready to kind of change the way you hear, speak, and feel English.
I always say the best part of language is that it's alive. It's constantly changing and evolving. So let's unlock some of those mysteries.
Okay.
What's the first secret we're uncovering?
First up is this sneaky little linguistic phenomenon called sound morphing.
Okay.
So you know how native speakers, we kind of just like blend, we chop, we even completely ditch certain sounds in a sentence?
Yeah.
It turns out it's not just laziness or fast talking. It's actually a strategic shortcut.
It's fascinating how our brains are wired for efficiency in language.
Right.
Think about it. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Because what you doing, it seems so simple when you see it written down.
Yeah.
But for English language learners, these mashed up sounds can be like trying to understand a whole new language.
It's true. It's like a code.
It is.
It's like we're speaking in code. And the article gives like a bunch of great examples of this. Going to casually transforms into gonna.
Of course.
Want to shrinks down to wanna.
Yep.
And who could forget the classic what are you becoming, what are ya?
Exactly. And the reason this happens actually makes a lot of sense when you think about the mechanics of speech.
Oh, okay.
Take gonna, for instance.
Yeah.
It's not just about reducing the number of syllables, right? It's also about the natural flow of sounds in English.
Okay.
Moving from the ing sound in going to the hard T into creates a kind of stop in the sound flow, whereas gonna allows for a smoother transition.
Oh, that's interesting. So it's all about that flow.
It is. It's about that flow.
So how can someone actually train their mouth to do this? Because I imagine it's not as simple as just deciding to morph your words together.
Right. It's definitely a process.
Yeah.
But one fun way to start is by really tuning in to how native speakers talk. Think of it like shadowing.
Okay.
Listening to a phrase and then trying to imitate not just the words, but the way they're connected and blended together.
So it's almost like you're training your ear to pick up on those subtle cues.
Yes.
And your mouth to follow suit.
Exactly.
Kind of like learning a new dance move. You need to feel the rhythm before you can really own it.
Exactly. And once you start paying attention, you'll be amazed at how much sound morphing is actually happening in everyday conversation.
I'm already noticing it.
Right.
Okay. Ready to move on to secret number 2?
Absolutely. Bring it on. What's next on our fluency adventure?
Next up, we're talking about those tiny but mighty words and phrases that most English courses completely gloss over. Discourse markers.
Yes.
They're like the secret sauce of natural, engaging speech.
Have you ever noticed how some people just have a way of making you feel like you're truly part of the conversation? Like they're speaking with you, not at you.
Yeah, for sure.
Discourse markers play a huge role in that.
Interesting. They're like the glue that holds everything together, right?
Yeah.
Adding those subtle nuances of emotion, emphasis, and even humor.
Yes.
The article describes them as punctuation marks for spoken English.
I love that.
And I think that's such a perfect analogy.
It is, because just like a well-placed comma or exclamation point, discourse markers add clarity and rhythm to our communication.
Right.
They give us those micro pauses to process information, signal shifts in the conversation, and let our personality shine through.
And just like punctuation can completely change the meaning of a written sentence.
Right.
Discourse markers can add like layers of meaning to our spoken words.
Absolutely.
They can express hesitation, agreement, disagreement, excitement, you name it.
All of it.
And the beauty is we often use them unconsciously.
We do.
Which is why they can be so tricky for English language learners to master.
Right.
It's like they're hiding in plain sight.
Totally.
The article actually gives a pretty hilarious example of this.
Okay.
Apparently, Justin Bieber used the discourse marker like a whopping 63 times in a single interview.
Wow.
63.
That's a lot of likes.
That is a lot.
It is.
But it does illustrate just how ingrained these little words are in everyday speech. Even if we don't realize it.
Totally.
It's almost like a subconscious verbal étique.
Right.
But used well.
Yeah.
Discourse markers can make you a more engaging and dynamic communicator.
For sure.
So for someone who wants to start incorporating them more consciously, what advice would you give?
I'd say start by becoming a discourse detective.
A discourse detective.
Yes.
Quiet.
Pay attention to how native speakers use these markers in different contexts.
So just like be super aware.
Yes, be aware.
Okay.
Listen for words like well, so,
Yeah, of course.
like actually, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
Yeah,
honestly,
right.
the list goes on and on.
It does.
Notice how they use them to connect ideas, express opinions, or simply buy themselves a little thinking time.
That's such a great tip.
Thank you.
Because once you start listening for them, you realize just how frequently they pop up
You do.
in natural conversation. It's almost like a secret language within a language.
Absolutely. And the more you expose yourself to these patterns,
Okay.
the more naturally you'll start to
Uh-huh.
incorporate them into your own speech.
Right. So it's all about like exposure
Yes.
and practice. It's
Yeah.
like anything else.
Practice makes perfect.
Exactly. Speaking of which, are you ready to dive into our third fluency secret?
You bet. Hit me with it.
All right. This next secret is all about shifting our focus
Okay.
from individual words to the overall music of English.
Ooh.
Because here's the thing.
Yeah.
Even if you have perfect grammar and a killer vocabulary,
Yeah.
if your delivery sounds stiff or unnatural,
Mm-hmm.
it can create a disconnect with native speakers.
Well, 100%.
Like they know what you're saying,
Right.
but it just doesn't land.
It's not flowing.
It's not flowing. It's not
natural.
It's not natural.
musical.
It's not musical. And the article actually quotes a language expert
Okay.
who puts it perfectly.
Right.
The problem is that you are trying to speak my language with the rhythm pattern of your language.
Wow.
It's so true.
That's very true.
It's like trying to waltz to a salsa beat.
I love that.
You might get the steps right,
Yes.
but the overall flow will be off.
The overall flow will be so off.
It will be so off and you'll look ridiculous.
Exactly.
So how do we even begin to tap into that musicality?
Yeah.
It seems like one of those things that's hard to pinpoint or teach.
You're right. It's not as simple as memorizing a rule.
Right.
But there are definitely techniques we can use
Okay.
to develop a more intuitive sense of English rhythm.
Okay. Like what?
One of the most powerful tools is, again, imitation.
Okay.
Find a native speaker whose voice you enjoy listening to,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's an actor, a podcaster,
Yeah.
or even a character from your favorite TV show.
Okay.
And spend time really listening to their cadence and intonation.
Okay.
Try to mimic not just the words they're saying,
Mm-hmm.
but the way they're saying them.
So it's not just what they say, it's how they say it.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like training your ear
Yes.
to hear those subtle nuances.
Yes.
And then training your mouth to reproduce them.
Exactly.
Right.
And don't be afraid to exaggerate a bit at first.
Okay.
Just like a musician might practice scales or arpeggios to develop their technique,
Okay.
you can practice exaggerating the ups and downs of English intonation
Oh, wow.
to get a better feel for how it works.
So it's almost like you're training your voice
Yes.
to dance to a different beat.
Exactly. And just like with dancing,
Okay.
the more you practice, the more natural and effortless it will become. But beyond imitation,
Okay.
there are other ways to internalize this musicality.
Oh. Oh, like what?
Well, one effective technique is to focus on what we call thought groups or sound chunks.
Okay, I've heard of those, but could you refresh my memory?
Of course.
What exactly are sound chunks?
Essentially, native speakers don't pronounce words in isolation.
Okay.
We group them together into these chunks,
Okay.
almost like mini phrases,
Mm-hmm.
based on the meaning and emphasis we want to convey.
So it's not just about the individual words.
Right.
It's about understanding how they connect and flow together
Yes.
in a sentence.
Exactly.
Oh, that totally makes sense.
It does.
It's like those word combinations you see in dictionaries,
Right.
but we rarely think about them
We don't.
in spoken language.
In spoken language, no. And once you start paying attention to these sound chunks,
Okay.
you'll notice them everywhere.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. It's like discovering a hidden pattern in the language.
This is all so eye-opening.
Is it?
It makes you realize how much we take for granted
We do.
as native speakers.
We take it for granted for sure.
We do, and that's why it's so important
Yes.
to bring these secrets to light
It is.
and help learners
Yeah.
understand the nuances
Yes.
that go beyond textbook English.
Beyond the textbook, 100%.
Absolutely. So to wrap things up,
Okay.
we've uncovered 3 powerful fluency secrets:
Yes.
sound morphing,
Number 1.
discourse markers,
Number 2.
and finding your English rhythm,
Number 3.
those sound chunks.
Yes.
And if we connect these secrets back to the bigger picture,
Okay.
they all point to one essential aspect of fluency.
And what's that?
Sounding more natural and
Yes.
effortless in your communication,
100%.
which ultimately boosts your confidence
It does.
and helps you connect with others
Yes.
on a deeper level.
On a deeper level, exactly.
Exactly. It's not about striving for perfection
Right.
or erasing your accent entirely.
Your beautiful accent.
It's about embracing the music and flow of the language
Yes.
and having fun with it along the way.
And having fun with it.
I love that. Me too.
So for all you listeners out there, remember, fluency is a journey, not a destination.
Fluency is a journey, not a destination.
I love that.
And the more you explore these hidden pathways,
Yes.
the more you'll discover the richness and beauty of the English language.
The richness and beauty, I love it.
And here's a final thought for you.
Okay.
We've talked about how sound chunks can change over time,
Right.
but what about the other fluency secrets?
Okay.
Do you think the rise of technology,
Mm-hmm.
social media,
Yeah.
and even things like artificial intelligence could lead to entirely new fluency secrets in the future?
That's a great question.
Something to ponder.
It is.
As you continue on your language learning adventure,
I love it.
it's almost like learning to speak English all over again, but this time with a whole new set of ears.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about going beyond the rules and the textbooks and tapping into that intuitive musical side of language.
Right.
And here's something interesting to consider.
Okay.
Since language is always evolving,
Yeah.
these sound chunks can even change over time.
Oh, wow.
New phrases and expressions pop up,
Right.
and the way we naturally group words together can shift.
So what you're saying is even native speakers are constantly adapting and refining their sense of English rhythm.
Exactly. It's a dynamic process.
Ooh.
And it highlights just how fascinating and complex language really is.
It does.
But that's what makes it so rewarding to explore.
Mm.
The more you delve into these hidden patterns,
Yeah.
the more you appreciate the artistry of communication.
It's like unlocking a secret code,
Yeah.
but instead of leading to buried treasure,
Right.
it leads to more meaningful and engaging conversations.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Right.
And ultimately, isn't that what fluency is all about?
It is.
Being able to connect with others,
Yeah.
share ideas,
Mhm.
and express ourselves with confidence and authenticity.
Absolutely. So for all of you listening who are on that journey to English fluency,
Yes.
remember those 3 powerful secrets.
Yes.
Sound morphing,
Down morphing, yes.
discourse markers,
There's discourse markers on it.
and embracing the music of English.
Yes, find that rhythm.
Find that rhythm.
And don't forget, have fun with it,
Yes.
experiment, play around,
Yeah.
and don't be afraid to make mistakes.
Make all the mistakes.
The more you embrace the journey,
Yeah.
the more rewarding it will be.
Such wise words.
Thank you.
Well, that is all the time we have for today's deep dive.
This was fun.
I had so much fun.
Me too.
As always, thank you so much for joining us and for lending your expertise
It was my pleasure.
to this topic, and we'll see you all next time.
See you next time.